You understand every single word. You know the answer. You even want to help, but your mouth just freezes.
Hmm.
Your face burns. Your heart pounds. And all that knowledge you have simply vanishes, leaving you speechless and, well, kind of reeling from the shame. It's an incredibly frustrating disconnect.
It truly is, yeah.
Yeah.
That gap between like intellectual understanding and actually doing something, it's something so many of us run into.
Literally.
We often assume that knowing about it automatically means we can do it. And this scenario, it just perfectly shows that misconception.
Yes, that disconnect is incredibly frustrating. And today we're diving into a story that offers a, well, a unique perspective on bridging it, not through more knowledge, maybe, but through something far simpler and far more transformative.
Right.
We're exploring a truly powerful personal journey of transforming English fluency. But this deep dive isn't just about language. It's really a profound narrative about overcoming fear, finding your authentic voice, and maybe discovering something much deeper about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Our source material for this deep dive comes from an individual's personal journey, shared through excerpts from the 5-Minute Habit English Fluency Transformed.
Okay.
And these passages, they detail their struggles, their unexpected breakthroughs, and the simple, consistent habit that, well, really changed everything for them.
So our mission today for you listening is to pull out the most profound insights from this narrative. We want to understand how consistency, self-trust, and embracing imperfection can lead to really significant personal growth and those incredible aha moments,
Mm-hmm.
going far beyond just acquiring a skill like, speaking a new language. So let's unpack this.
Let's do it. Let's begin at the very start of their journey with that familiar and frustrating struggle between knowing and speaking.
Right.
So the narrator, Elif, describes academic success. High grades, memorized vocabulary, passing exams easily. It suggests a solid, almost, perfect foundation of knowledge.
Right. Like she believed she was doing everything exactly right, checking all the boxes. But there was this critical missing piece, something maybe no teacher had prepared her for. Knowing English doesn't mean you can speak it.
Exactly.
And she discovered this in the most mortifying way, didn't she, at a bustling airport? This painful moment is, I think, really crucial to remember because it sets the stage for everything that follows.
It's so striking how a simple, everyday interaction can just lay bare such a fundamental vulnerability. Elif recounted being at a crowded terminal waiting for her cousin when a nervous tourist approached her, asking for directions to the exit. Simple question.
Yeah, simple question. And she understood the words perfectly. She knew the answer. She wanted to help, but she just froze.
Ah.
Nothing came out, just an embarrassed, sorry. And then she turned away, pretended to check her phone, her face burning with shame. That feeling of betrayal by your own mouth, it's just awful.
That brain freeze is so common, and Elif's experience just illustrates it perfectly. But is it truly a shutdown, or maybe something more nuanced happening under pressure?
That's interesting. What do you mean?
Well, what we often see is performance anxiety kind of overriding declarative knowledge. Your working memory can get flooded by the stress response, making it impossible to access information you actually possess.
Ah, okay. So the knowledge is there, but the stress blocks the pathway.
Exactly. And thinking about it that way, how that distinction informs how we approach overcoming it is key. The aftermath of this incident for Aleph is particularly poignant. Sitting alone, replaying the scene, crying small, tired tears, whispering, "I've been learning English for years. Why can't I speak?"
Oh, heartbreaking.
It's that universal feeling of profound disappointment and self-doubt, isn't it?
It really is. That
Yeah.
deep, disappointed place. And that's what finally led to the breakthrough, right?
Huh.
Aleph went online, typing that exact, desperate question, why I understand English but can't speak.
Yeah.
She sifted through hundreds of videos, articles, endless advice. Probably got overwhelmed.
Oh, I'm sure. And then in a comment section, just buried amidst all the noise, she found this one sentence that completely transformed her perspective. Fluency is a habit, not a skill.
Wow. Fluency is a habit, not a skill.
Yeah. This single sentence fundamentally reframes the entire problem. It shifts our focus from, like, seeking innate talent or just piling up theoretical knowledge,
Right.
to understanding that mastery in any domain, really, is built brick by brick through consistent, small actions. It's the core difference between passive learning and active application.
That makes so much sense.
But why is this distinction so often overlooked and yet so crucial for true breakthroughs?
It's such a simple but powerful shift in thinking, isn't it? From viewing fluency as something you acquire through study to something you build through consistent action, like building muscle.
Exactly like building muscle. So the very next morning, despite not feeling particularly powerful or inspired, she made a quiet but firm decision.
Okay, what did she do?
She describes waking with this mix of sadness and determination. She opened her phone, clicked on the voice recorder app, took a deep breath, and just pressed record. That small, almost imperceptible action, that was the turning point.
And her first recording was exactly as awkward as you'd expect.
Totally. She
Okay.
said, "Hi, my name is Elif. I am learning English. I don't know what to say, but I want to speak." It lasted exactly 41 seconds.
41 seconds. Tiny, almost insignificant start. And yet this was monumental.
But that 41 seconds was everything, because that morning she made a promise to herself to record herself speaking English for 5 minutes every single day.
Every day.
Every day. No skipping, no excuses, no judgment. The focus wasn't on perfection at all, but simply on the act of speaking, forming sentences, and hearing her own voice.
That commitment is key.
It's the bedrock of effective habit formation. Consistency over intensity. It speaks to how our brains actually build neural pathways. Regular, even tiny activation is far more effective for long-term wiring than, sporadic, intense bursts. It's not really about willpower as much as it is about creating an automatic loop.
And the early days were, predictably painful, as she describes. She didn't know what to talk about, repeating those same boring sentences like, wake up at 7, I drink coffee, I go to work.
Been there.
Yeah. Her grammar was all over the place, pronunciation shaky, but she kept going. It really highlights that initial awkward phase, that friction many of us face when starting something new.
But by day 10, a critical shift occurred, and this is where the habit truly started to, embed itself. The initial pain gave way to something new.
Okay.
She stopped reading from notes, started talking more freely, noticed words came faster, and crucially, most importantly, she began to enjoy it.
Ah, the enjoyment factor. That's huge.
It is. This is what we often call the tipping point in habit formation, where the friction decreases and the reward system kicks in, making the behavior sort of self-reinforcing. What specifically changed that made it enjoyable, and what does that tell us about the tipping point in any new habit? It became less about external validation, maybe, and more about internal discovery.
And that's when Elif had another crucial realization. This small, private habit was changing me. She wasn't just practicing English, she was learning to trust myself. It's fascinating how a specific skill, like language, can become this powerful vehicle for profound self-growth. It's about showing up for yourself, isn't it? Not just for the task.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really shows how building any small, consistent habit can lead to profound self-discovery and confidence, far beyond the initial goal.
Yeah.
It's the act of committing to yourself daily and delivering on that promise that fundamentally rebuilds self-trust and identity, brick by brick.
Brick by brick. I like that. And 3 weeks in, something truly remarkable happened. She had shown up every morning, tired or not, and one morning, without planning it, she spontaneously told a full story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was the anecdote about accidentally buying 5 pineapples instead of bananas at the market.
The pineapples. Yes.
And just going with it because she didn't want to correct the seller. That pineapple moment is so vivid. I think we've all had those moments where you just commit to a silly mistake rather than try to explain it.
Absolutely. But for her, it wasn't just funny, it was a watershed moment. That moment of spontaneous storytelling is a huge breakthrough, precisely because it wasn't about perfection. It was about genuine communication and self-expression, even with imperfections.
Right.
The narrator wasn't just listing facts, they were communicating, expressing personality, humor, emotion in English. Even if it was broken, imperfect, and simple. It was real and it was hers. That's true fluency in a way.
That's beautiful. Real and hers. And the impact started spilling over into her real world, right? She stopped panicking at English emails at work,
Yep.
actually understanding and replying.
Okay.
She caught new phrases in movies. And that tourist encounter, the one that started it all,
Oh, yeah.
it happened again.
No way. How did it go this time?
Well, this time, there was no freezing. Elif smiled and said, yes, of course. You go straight, then left. The metro is right there. Simple, direct, helpful.
Amazing.
The feeling of triumph here is palpable, described as heart-pounding, smiling like a child who had just ridden a bicycle without training wheels for the first time.
That's fantastic. It just demonstrates the tangible, earned rewards of consistent, brave effort, reinforcing those neural pathways she had been building minute by minute.
It's incredible. She had achieved so much, but then came the maybe inevitable friction, the skepticism from those closest to her.
Right, yes. The doubters.
This isn't just about language learning, is it? It's a universal challenge for anyone pursuing a new path, something different. What makes this external doubt so potent? And how do we see Elif specifically counteracting that sort of psychological weight?
Well, external doubt, especially from loved ones, is incredibly potent because it taps into our innate need for social validation, for belonging. It can make us question our own sanity or the value of our quiet efforts.
Well, why are you talking to yourself?
Exactly. The narrator nearly quit that night, feeling small again, silly. But what saved her, I think, was an internal validation loop she'd built. She didn't rely on their approval anymore.
Okay.
She remembered the tangible, earned moments of progress, the market story, the work emails, the tourist. Those were real, felt achievements that no external opinion could really diminish.
She had earned those moments 5 minutes at a time. So she picked up the phone, pressed record, and declared, today I almost gave up, but I didn't. Because this habit, it's not just about English anymore. It's about me, and I'm not ready to stop.
Chills. That moment of self-affirmation, made even stronger in the face of doubt, led to a significant shift. That night, she didn't just record for 5 minutes. She spoke for 15.
15 minutes, wow.
Telling her future self everything I had learned. This act of extending the habit, even when challenged, just shows true resilience and commitment.
And those key lessons she distilled in that recording are pure gold. She captured the core wisdom in these powerful points, that showing up matters more than being perfect.
Crucial.
That confidence grows from repetition, not talent.
So true.
That one small habit done with love and commitment can shift your entire identity. And maybe the biggest one, most of all, that I was stronger than I thought.
What's truly profound here is how these insights just transcend language learning. They're universal truths about personal development, resilience, self-belief. This simple habit became a crucible for deep internal transformation.
A crucible. Explain that a bit.
Well, a crucible, by definition, is where something is subjected to extreme heat to bring out its purest form, right? Here, the consistent, vulnerable act of speaking into a recorder day after day without external validation acted as that heat. It forced Elif to confront internal fears and build a new, stronger self-perception.
That's a powerful image. It's been 4 months since that quiet decision, that first recording, and Elif barely recognizes the girl who whispered through her first recording. And then came this unexpected ripple effect, right? A surprising turn she could never have anticipated.
Yeah, this part's amazing. While cleaning phone storage, she stumbled upon that very first 41-second recording, that little whisper.
Oh, what did she do with it?
What happened next was truly serendipitous. She uploaded that first recording as a podcast, maybe on a whim, not expecting much at all. But the listenership grew. 19, then 73, then 200. Small numbers maybe, but growing. And then a message arrived that deeply impacted her. Your voice feels like a friend. I don't feel alone anymore.
Oh, wow. That's incredibly moving. That's where the deeper meaning truly landed for Elif, you think?
I think so. She cried, apparently, remembering what it felt like to feel utterly alone in her struggle. And it speaks to the incredible connecting power of voice itself beyond just the words or the grammar.
Yeah, the vulnerability.
Yes, Elis realized that voice carries more than words. It carries courage, hope, and connection. She didn't need to be fluent, she just needed to be real.
Needed to be real.
Fluency wasn't the ultimate goal. Authentic expression and genuine connection were. This illustrates how showing up as your true self, imperfections and all, can be far more impactful than waiting for some idealized, perfect version of yourself that might never arrive.
And today, Elif still records every morning, not necessarily for fluency, but because she loves how it feels to express myself, to speak, to reflect, to grow.
English is no longer just a language she's trying to learn, but, as she puts it, a space I've built for myself, a space where I can be honest, a space where I belong. It transformed from a daunting task into a personal sanctuary for self-expression and identity, built one 5-minute recording at a time.
So for you, our well-informed listener, the core message isn't just that fluency is speaking bravely, though that's part of it. It's about recognizing how this seemingly simple principle unlocks not just a skill, but a profound transformation of self-identity and self-trust.
Exactly, and it's applicable far beyond language. It validates what many of us intuitively know about growth, but maybe rarely fully commit to.
Right, this isn't just about English, is it? It's a universal blueprint for overcoming any barrier where that fear of imperfection paralyzes us.
Totally. Think about starting a new business, learning an instrument, tackling a difficult conversation, or even pursuing a creative passion. The principle remains the same. Consistent, brave action, even when it's messy.
Especially when it's messy.
Right. It dismantles the psychological walls far more effectively than waiting for perfect readiness.
So the question for you listening becomes, what small habit can you start today? What's that one thing you've been putting off because you're waiting for the perfect time or the perfect skill?
And remember, you don't need fancy equipment, as Elif showed us.
Your phone, your voice. That's really all you need to begin.
Don't wait for the perfect time, because this time right now is already perfect for taking that first brave step.
That one seemingly insignificant, consistent habit like the 5-minute practice we explored today really does have the power to change everything, not just a skill, but your identity and your connection to the world. Consider the immense, rippling impact one small, brave action can have on your personal journey.